Hello everybody and welcome to this vlog where we're going to take a water tour of Copenhagen, Denmark. But before that, I want to show you a little bit where our hotel was. For our hotel, we picked the Hotel Osterport, which was not our first choice. It was kind of expensive, but it was centrally located and we had to get this hotel because our other one canceled plans. So it was a little bit expensive, $274, but this is what it looked like. Let's see what we're paying $274 for.
Just enough space.
Yep, just enough space because that's the Danish way. Yep, there's your bed.
If we were 4 people, they would fall down that top and be bunk beds.
Yep. Look at our bathroom.
4 people.
I don't even know how to turn on the light in here.
What?
Let's see.
We're gonna rattle as the trains go by.
Oh, there we go. Here's the bathroom. Everything here in the Baltics is simple aesthetics. Simple, simple. And we're gonna hear the trains, flat screen TV. Of course, European ports. The boat tour was in Gamla Stan, which is Old Town, and we had Copenhagen cards, which included the tour, but also included metro, which was nice. So we took the metro almost everywhere we went to in Copenhagen. The metro is very convenient, and if you have the Copenhagen card, it's included for the number of days on your Copenhagen card, so that's a little tip. Gamla Stan is the old town where Copenhagen and pretty much all of Denmark was first founded, and that's where you're going to find most of your historical buildings, including the Parliament building, and so that's where we headed first. But we were getting thirsty, so we decided to go to 7-Eleven actually before the tour. It was like... Being in the tourist part of town, this 7-Eleven was very crowded. Most of the things you'd see here are normal from 7-Eleven, but what's cool is they had lots of pastries, and the other thing that was interesting is they don't accept cash. Everything is done by a tap credit card, so if you don't have a tap credit card, you can't buy anything in the 7-Eleven. But it was still very interesting to look at all the different products that they had in this 7-Eleven. Coke, Diet Coke, and then they have like what we think is Mountain Dew, this Faxi Condi, lots of energy drinks, and some types of water that I'm not familiar with, but I'm going to try one that looks like just a bit over here. We are now on a canal boat cruise, and we're going to take a tour here. This is the Christiania Palace, which is also home of the Parliament of Denmark, and we're gonna go see what stuff is here along the canals. The canals of Copenhagen are a happening place. Everybody is on the canals. Tourists are on the canals, but also citizens are on the canals in their little boats. Everybody hangs out at these canals, and this was like at 2 p.m. so I was amazed that 2 p.m. on a Monday, people were just hanging out by the canal. They obviously have more time off than we do. It was kind of funny on the bridges. Even though Danish people are very tall, the bridges are very low, and so almost everybody had a duck when going under the bridges, but that was kind of cool. As you can hear in the background, the tour was both in Danish and in English, so part of it we didn't understand, but we did understand the English part. What we're looking at here is the oldest stock exchange in the world from the 1620s. The Danish were master tradesmen, and it doesn't surprise me that they had the first stock exchange in the world. Now this area right here was kind of interesting. This area was called Christiania. And Christiania is an island in the Copenhagen that was taken over by hippies. And it is a self-supporting area. And they receive a set amount of money from the government. But other than that, they completely take care of themselves. And it's kind of an independent enclave. And people do all sorts of things there. And just kind of interesting how the people took over this area. For example, this used to be a stockyard for building ships, and they converted it into apartment buildings. And then right next to it was where the British soldiers used to make gunboats, but they took those over and made them into houses. So Christiania is kind of like a hippie liberal community. In this area, we were starting to get close to the naval base in Copenhagen, which is a large space where they're keeping lots of war boats these days because, of course, the war between Ukraine and Russia and the European Union's on full alert. So there was several war boats in the harbor. It's kind of interesting. They had some historical boats there too. For example, if you look here, you can see this old World War II destroyer that is actually a museum piece that you can go to. And they also had a submarine, the first Danish submarine, and you can tour that as well. Over here is the most photographed woman in all of Denmark, the Little Mermaid. As you can see, it gets pretty crowded over by the statue of the Little Mermaid. She was made popular in the 1960s by Danny Mackay when she was used as part of a tourist campaign for Copenhagen. But the secret is, if you want to get a good picture, go there early and you don't have to worry about the crowd so much. The hydroplane. That's an expensive boat.
Grunden til, at man skal bruge en stor sten, det bliver ryger så mange cigaretter. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a palace with 4 chimneys. That's the palace of the Crown Prince. We also have a palace with 5 chimneys. That is the palace of the Queen. And there's a running joke here in Denmark that the reason she needs 5 chimneys is because she smokes that many cigarettes.
Boats that don't look like they move much. If you're curious how far it is to the top of that steeple, it's 400 steps. And no, I don't know because I didn't climb it. This building is the library, and it's built at angles so that it captures the sun and it lights the middle of the room. This building is called the Block, and it's kind of like a shopping mall in Copenhagen. And if it looks like a bunch of Legos put together, you would be right, because Legos were invented in Denmark, and so this building is kind of a nod to that. They wanted to make it look like Legos put together. One thing about having so many little islands as your capital is you have several boats that are not just for navigating the seas, but they're also museums and stores. So all of the boats on this particular row here were either stores or they were like little museums of different things. Denmark has been involved in a lot of wars and contentions, and so the capital of Copenhagen has been burnt down many times, and most of the bridges in the canals have been rebuilt. But this one is the one bridge that survived the entire time over by the Prince's Castle. So you kind of get a feel of what the bridges looked like originally in the 1600s. So that's kind of cool.
There are many awesome museums in Copenhagen. This is the Natural History, the National History Museum of Copenhagen. There are so many museums. We didn't have time to visit them all, but at least we got to see them from the outside, and that was something. The orange building that we're coming up here is called the Thorvaldsen Museum. You might not recognize the name Thorvaldsen, but if I show you this picture of the Christus, you might recognize him. He is a very famous artist. He spent time in Italy and then came here to Denmark, where he was commissioned for several different pieces.
4 years after that, they built this museum. Now there is the last bridge on the tour, so please remain seated. Thank you very much. Sir, thank you.
This statue is of Bishop Absalon, who was a warrior bishop who is the founder of Copenhagen, but archaeological evidence says that there was people here a long time before him.
Hanging out with the fishmonger statue.
I could be a fishmonger, man.
You could.
I could have that voice. I could be yelling.
Yeah.
Except for
You wouldn't even be yelling.
Yeah.
Well, that was our canal tour through Copenhagen. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, please give it a like, and we'll see you in the next video.
Seated. Thank you.